Okay, what I would like everyone to do now is to enter the following sequence into your text file. So do like fish equals left bracket 1, 2, string red, string blue, end bracket. That's the same list that we had before. Okay. So the shell already knows what this value is, but our program doesn't. Right? Our script hasn't been told that's the value, so we need to enter it first. Okay, then print it, just to be sure that we're like entering the value properly. So print fish. Now this line is just to make a little separator so your eyes can visually see the separation between them. Okay, and now I want you to type, it's important to be kind of literal in this case. For, space, element, or it can be any variable name, space, in, space, fish. So this can be anything you want, just use element for now. But for, blah, 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 in, fish, has to be this. And then have a colon, and then press enter. Now because you're using idle, it knows about Python, and it's going to automatically indent by about 4 spaces. Then you say print element. Okay, then save that file. Okay, anyone have any guesses as to what's going to happen? Let's give it a shot. Yes. Okay, so let's explain what happened. What this does is it goes through the elements of the list fish in order. That's the crucial part. And for each one, we temporarily, locally bind it to the name element. So element always refers to the current element of the list. And once we're finished doing this indented block of code, Python, under the hood, goes back and changes the current value that the loop is referring to the next one. So first element is going to be the value 1. Next element is going to be the value 2. Then element's going to be the value red, and then element's going to be the value blue. So basically it says for variable in fish, do some stuff. And variable is going to cycle through all of the elements of the list fish in order. Yep.
So you said you could use any other name apart from element, right?
Yeah, I just use element because it's very, like it tells you like this is a list element.
But do you need to predefine what it's referring to, or is it just?
No. Element is what's called a dummy variable.
Okay.
Right. So this is basically like this. You're telling it what to do. You're saying I'm going to use the name element to refer to the current element of the list, and I want you to cycle through all of those. Now my loop is going to be able to refer to that element only by the name element. So what the inner block of code knows is element is the current thing in the list that I'm supposed to deal with. So it's very, very common in computer programming where you have to loop through like a whole set of things and do the same thing to each one of them individually. In fact, that is like the definition of what computers are awesome at that people suck at. So you should use them for that purpose. Yeah.
Does print element have to be on a new line so that it'll calculate the value of element when you go to the new line? Or was that just, I mean, that's what you said, but I think I'm drawing too much of an inference from it.
Yeah, let me illustrate by
The
example.
colon takes care of the loop function, right?
The indents are crucial.
What happens if you put them all in one line?
I don't think.
So, after the colon,
Uh-huh.
the way that Python signifies that this group of code goes together as one block is it all has the same indent level. Okay, so after the colon, you've increased your indent level from like 0 to 4 or like 1/2 tab stop or whatever you want to think of it. So now, as long as we keep on getting lines that are indented 4 spaces, Python is going to know, keep on doing all of this stuff. This is all of the stuff that goes underneath the for loop.
So you have to end
Because there's no and statement.
Yeah, there's no end statement for the for loop. So this is the one thing that many programmers find really just bad about Python, is that you rely on this implicit text setting feature to distinguish when one block of code ends. Now, frankly, I don't find it's that big a deal, but I agree that it's a little bit like bad. Like if you use good programming style, this will never, ever, 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 ever cause a problem for you. The good programming style is make the indentation level correspond directly to the level of embedding that you are in the program. That's very good style. You should always do it. If you do it, your programs will be very readable. You should do that even if you use other markers that are less ambiguous, like open parenthesis, close parenthesis to end the block or whatever. But in Python, you have to use spacing to indicate the grouping level, and you can't use anything else. So for some people, that's a bad feature of Python.
And also, you can't indent for reasons other than what Python wants, as I just said.
Yes, that's right.
If you think it's logical, it will still crash.
Yeah. In essence, you indent after a colon, and you never indent any other time.
So the colons are redundant, right?
No, it gets upset if you leave it out, I think.
I'm talking about the level of designing the system, not.
No, the colon is the thing. The colon is the thing that signals that the in part has ended. So
That isn't signaled by
the end of the line.
a tab at the beginning of the next line.
This is one of those moments.
Sorry,
where
I'm just
like,
being grouchy. So.
This is just how it is. Do it how it is.
Yeah. You didn't invent this language. We should remember that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So if we can use any word for element, I assume we would run into a problem if we said like for x in fish, print x, since we've already identified x in our shell, we would run into some sort of shitstorm.
What would happen is, as long as x wasn't also pointing to fish, then the value of x would just be overwritten. And as far as the shell is concerned, that might be bad because later we were wanting x to be, this other thing, and it wasn't anymore. But as far as inside the program is concerned, there wouldn't be any harm because we would just overwrite the value of x. Now, if x also happened to refer to fish, then there would be a problem. Okay. There's lots of things that Python does to minimize the possibility for conflict, but there's one single thing that you can do that is going to help you out more than you will ever believe, and that is to use names for your variables that indicate what the variables do.
Yeah.
It's the smartest, it's the best piece of coding advice I could ever give anyone. This is even more important than commenting your code, is just use mnemonic variable names.